For the trends of ICT in education, perhaps before we look into ICT in education trends, we have to look into a bigger picture of the ministries of education in Southeast Asia trends in policy, because ICT in education is one of the policy within the big framework. Most of the countries in Southeast Asia, the keywords now is first is they focus on 21st century's curriculum. That means skills of the future work, problem solving, critical, how they build their students with these 21st century skills. Another one is ICT in education. That is part of the 21st century curriculum. Another keyword which become a trend in Southeast Asian country which links to ICT is STEM education, science, technology, engineering and mathematics. And within that big framework keyword, many countries adjust their policy on ICT according to their context and how they want to focus how they want to build their human resource development. But basically those are the two key trends at the moment. Again, back to the policy of each countries, SEAMEO is an international or regional organization which promotes cooperation within Southeast Asia, 11 countries, ASEAN plus Timor-Leste. So we try to promote through cooperation of activities that countries can learn from each other, not only the one who have everything readily available, but the one who have not can be a lesson learned for the one who already have. So that's within the paradigm. And at the same time, within the structure of SEAMEO, we have 20 SEAMEO regional centers which provide capacity buildings for teachers, for educational personnel. And through these 20 regional centers, which have their own expertise in like math, science, technology, language, they embedded ICT within their training courses. So therefore, that can be one way of helping provide access or capacity building for teacher in ICT education. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, in 2015, 11 countries under SEAMEO member, the ministry get together and come up with 7 priority areas. And within these 7 priority areas, one of the area is focused on 21st century curriculum. And within that, as I mentioned earlier, is ICT in education, how they can help each other provide access and use ICT as tool in the learning of their students.
Right.
Oh, very much, because Singapore has a very good innovative practices. And within Southeast Asia, we can learn a lot from Singapore model in management-wise or ICT-wise or the thinking process of the teacher development in ICT. It will be very useful for many countries to learn from the practice of Singapore schools. Mm-hmm. Oh, we still have a long way to go, but that doesn't mean that we're lag behind, because with technology, our ICT, it's a leaping frog. We can bring the practice of other region, apply into our own context, and at the same time, we can create innovative practices for them to learn from us as well. So it's a learning experience throughout the journey. Mm-hmm. Personally, I'm very much interested in teacher training, and I've been doing teacher training on ICT throughout the many years, almost 20 years now. I think we always talk about we always talk about how we help students learn with 21st century ICT, but less emphasis on teacher. If we want quality education, if we start with the student, it will be too late. We should look into quality of teacher in the use of these tools. As a result of the teacher trained, qualified teacher, then they can pass on those knowledge to students. So we should put more emphasis, budget-wise, resource-wise, some tools that are easy for teacher to use. Otherwise, if the teacher doesn't want to use it, might as well they lag behind students. Yes, definitely, especially particularly in this time. Partnership is very important. Public-private partnership is the key to the solution of ICT in education. Government themselves cannot do it alone. I've been working with ministries of education, 11 countries in Southeast Asia for many, many years. And one of the key success factor in implementing ICT in school is to partnership with private sector. That's where they can come in and use the expertise of each area and help that to be successful projects. I think it is a very good opportunity for Head Foundation to bring together the thinking heads, like expert in this area, or not just ICT area, but expert in the relevant area, come together and put their bits and pieces of knowledge together, come up with policy briefing, but the policy briefing, in my opinion, should be something that can translate into practical use for country context. Each country have their own context, different and varied, and diversity and the gap are so wide. How do you identify the common policy where countries can make use of the lessons learned and practice of each other and translate it into the real projects? I think beside the policy briefing that Head Foundation can do is to synthesize it into strategies, simple strategies, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this is 10 strategies on how to implement this, this is 10 strategies to implement that. I think that can be practical for countries to pick out and implement it in their practice.